in the perfect place in time in 2009, 10 and 11 when the market was completely trashed, right? And there were foreclosures all over the place and you could basically buy houses at a penny for the dollar, and that's all unrealistic. Who runs around with $250,000 in cash that you can make a down payment? So how does it actually work if you are just a regular person like we were when we were starting and we didn't have a ton of money? So what's my strategy? Why did it work? How did it work? What does it actually do? The performance, and that is really what we're looking at, and why I really sometimes get angry with all these guys on YouTube or on other channels that try to tell you to become a real estate investor, is that they don't pay any attention to performance. What's the strategy? The strategy is to start out and get to the first property as soon as possible. Back to our channel. Today I want to tell you a little bit about how can you actually accomplish this claim that a lot of people, ourselves included, make out there to become a passive income millionaire, or how do you actually become a millionaire in real estate investing. There's all kinds of videos out there, and I wanted to take today to really show you how normal people can get there. Yeah, there are guys out there who have inherited a ton of money, whose family members have worked in real estate in forever, who happen to be in the perfect place in time in 2009, 10 and 11 when the market was completely trashed, right? And there were foreclosures all over the place and you could basically buy houses at a penny for the dollar, and that's all unrealistic. Well, there's this guy literally on YouTube making videos where he says, okay, I'm a real estate agent and I spend hours every day and I'm looking for houses in the Los Angeles area between 1.3 and 1.8 million dollars. That's all great, and if you put 20% down, who runs around with $250,000 in cash that you can make a down payment? So how does it actually work if you are just a regular person like we were when we were starting and we didn't have a ton of money? So what's my strategy? Why did it work? How did it work? What does it actually do? So number one, if you look at our materials, you will see that we invest in residential real estate. And what I mean by that is residential real estate, normal houses. 3 bedroom, 1 bath, 3 bedroom, 2 bath. And now we're actually looking even more so into 4 bedroom, 2 bath. Why? Because we suspect that it won't take very long for people to realize that you really don't necessarily need to go to work into a building, in a cubicle, sit next to another person, do the job that you could also do from the home office. So more and more people will actually look for properties that have, instead of 3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms, where they can take 1 bedroom, turn it into an office and work from home. So that will be our investment strategy into the future. Now the other part about it is, when you live in a high expensive area, and I'm always glad to bring you these videos with the beautiful surroundings, blue skies, nice sunshine almost every day, that's what San Diego County gives you, but what it doesn't give you is investable real estate, at least not for normal people. Why? Because the regular house, nothing special, 3 bedroom, 1 bath, 1950s house is like $400,000 to $500,000. The closer you get to the city, it's $600,000, $700,000, $800,000. And as you know, I always say you want to put 20% down to avoid any of those insurance premiums and stuff that the banks make you pay. So if you want to avoid that and you get a $600,000 or $500,000 house, that means you have to have anywhere between $150,000 and $200,000 in cash, plus all the closing costs, appraisal costs, all these other things. Most people don't have that. And if you were to put money aside, like I'm recommending in your accumulation bank account, where you save a little bit of money, I recommend $1,000 a month, and you can see videos up here or in our description from previous episodes where we described how much you should put in your accumulation account, then it would take forever to get $150,000 together. You would get frustrated if you actually ever wanted to wait for that to be ready to invest. Now the other thing is, from that, if you were to only go into these really expensive properties, the performance, and that is really what we're looking at, and why I really sometimes get angry with all these guys on YouTube or on other channels that try to tell you to become a real estate investor, is that they don't pay any attention to performance. So what do we recommend? What do I recommend? What really works? What's my strategy to become this real estate investor, both from an asset perspective, because you can be a real estate asset millionaire, and then you can become a passive income millionaire. What's the strategy? The strategy is to start out and get to the first property as soon as possible. And the way you get to the first property as soon as possible is to look for something that performs well in a good, safe area, in a B- C+ property category, at a price that you can afford from a down payment perspective. And what I mean by that, a price that you can afford is something between $85,000 and $120,000. Because if you take the happy medium of that, around $100,000, then your 20% down is $20,000. Let's be generous and say you put $500 in the appraisal and you have some couple $1,000s of closing costs. Right? So you're all in, what you need to bring to the table is maybe $23,000. Now how do you get there? You put $1,000 in your accumulation account for less than 2 years and you can buy the first property. And if you have a spouse who helps you and does the same thing, then you can do it within 1 year. So now you have a property that, if it performs well and applies what we call the 1% rule, that will be explained in another video. So you have the 1% rule performing property that gives you about $250, maybe even up to $300 a month in positive cash flow these days. Right? So you have a little bit of money coming in, but you also own a $100,000 house. So you keep putting those $1,000 aside every month, and you have $250 coming in every month from your house. Right? So the time it takes to get to the second one gets faster. Now when you have the second one, now you have $500 coming in every month and $1,000 you put aside, the time gets even shorter. And so within a period of 6 to 8 years, you get to a point where you have probably anywhere between 8 and 12 properties. And if they're all anywhere between $100,000 and $120,000, guess what? You now have more than $1 million in real estate as assets. You are a real estate asset millionaire. Anybody can do that. Anybody can put some money aside. You can take, even if you have an accelerator, like for example some money in your 401k, or you have some other investments in stocks that you can pull in. But this whole notion that you have to have $100,000 or $200,000 job, or that you want to invest and do this in any kind of high price area, or that it makes any sense to buy something in an area like, for example, here in San Diego, or for that matter in LA or in San Francisco, doesn't make any sense. Why? It's not just the price, and it's not just the down payment that you need to make. It is also the ratio, which is what I call the performance of the property. If you were to buy a property here at $500,000 and you want to get the 1% rule, you need $5,000 of rent a month. How many people do you know who can afford $5,000 of rent a month? If in comparison, you buy 5 houses at $100,000 each house, and you rent each house for $1,000 a month, that makes much more sense. You still have the same $500,000 asset value, but you have 5 houses each renting for $1,000 a month. And if they are 3 bedroom, 1 bath, 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 4 bedroom, 2 bath, like I said in the beginning of this video, they're perfect houses. People want to live there, and if you get them nicely renovated, well managed, good quality, then your tenants are going to treat that house as a home. They're not going to trash it. They want to live there. In the places that I have bought over the years, the tenants move into basically like a brand new house. Yes, it's still the same frame, but everything else is basically renovated. And they love to live there, and they don't miss a payment. Now, when you go to the second step about the passive income millionaire, that is actually the point where you just keep accumulating. And you can imagine if you had 10 houses, and you're still gonna go to work, and you're getting $250 from each house, that's $2,500 a month, even if you don't put anything of your own money aside anymore. You have basically every 10 months you can buy another house. And as you keep going and buying another house, your passive income keeps increasing. And so you can just keep going and adding until you get so much money passively in every month that you will be, if you add it up over a year, a millionaire. Now, the other thing that is also going to happen is at some point you say, okay, well, now I have so many houses, I don't really want to buy more houses. Well, what you can do then is take that money that comes in and pay off the ones that you already have. Let's say you did this for 15 years and you have 25 houses. Well, the first one is already half paid, and if you dump all your passive income into that one, it will be paid off in a few years. Then the next one will be paid off in a few years. And you know, this accelerates too. So the plan that we offer, that I basically call the millionaire strategy, is for you to actually accumulate well-performing houses in B and C class neighborhoods in secure places across the country and adhere to this 1% rule. And then when you get to this critical mass of income that allows you to say, okay, do I need to use the income or not use the income? Then at that point you can decide, if I don't need it because I love the job that I do, then I use to pay down the mortgages to the point that more and more of the money that comes in from rent goes into my own pocket. And sooner or later, like I said, normally it rarely ever takes 15 years. Most people it takes 12 years. In my case, it took about 13 years. We are at the point where we're basically doing all of this because we want to, not because we have to. And that's what you really want to do. But don't get hung up on any of these millionaire strategies where you're living in an expensive area or where you need to put away ridiculous amounts of money or you have to be born rich, any of that. So a good strategy for normal people is put a little aside, get a regular normal house, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 4-bedroom, 2-bath, around $100,000, and keep buying them every year, at least one.